Hello, my name is Wim Van Petegem, and in the next couple of minutes I would like to tell you about the story on growing in lifelong learning competence at our university, which is the KU Leuven in Belgium. It is one of the largest universities in Belgium, and it has three core missions as every traditional universities, which is scientific research, academic education, and service to society. It consists of 30 libraries and 5 hospitals, and it has an international orientation. We are a large university in the sense that we have about 35,000 students, of which more than 12% are international students. And we also have more than 15,000 staff members, of which, well, something about 5,000 researchers. How is our university organized, and especially how is educational policy organized? We have all faculties, all scientific areas in our university, and they are grouped into 3 groups. There is the group of humanities, there is a group of science and technology, and there is the group of medical sciences, each headed by a vice rector. Educational programs are all supervised by those faculties. Next to the programs and the contents of the programs, we also have special vice rectors in the university that are linked to the 3 missions of the university. And one of them is a vice rector on educational policy, and he is heading 3 support centers. One on educational policy itself, one on educational support, more from a pedagogical point of view, and one on new educational technologies, and I just happen to be the director of that last one, AVNet. As I said, we organize bachelor and master programs within the faculties, and you can see that here on this slide. There is 3 years bachelor programs, initial master programs of another 2 years. We do have some advanced master programs linked to PhD as well. Next to that, we have continuing education, and they are put here as separate programs in 3 different ways. We have postgraduate programs, we have certified continuing education programs, and we have continuing education without any certification except an attestation of participation. These programs are still organized by the faculties, but they are somewhat separate from the master and bachelor programs. I said in the beginning that I wanted to tell you how we are growing in lifelong learning competences in the university and what we are doing for others to help them growing in lifelong learning competences. And the story started about 15 years ago in the university when one of our former rectors had the idea to bring together different centers in the university that were involved in innovative ways of teaching and learning, including innovative teaching and learning in lifelong learning. But it didn't work at that time because of several reasons. But we started again, and one first step in that growing process was to build a new building and to bring together people into that building that have responsibilities in innovation in teaching and learning. And that is the black building you see on this picture. Another step was to appoint someone who was then the director of all those people together. And like I said, it just happened to be me at the time. And we gradually increased the ways or the activities in teaching and learning, in lifelong learning, in new educational technologies and so on, into the business of what we are doing in our center nowadays. And after 15 years of history, we can say that at this moment we have integrated all services linked to lifelong learning, linked to innovation and teaching and learning, linked to other ways of knowledge transfer at the university into the business of AVNet. This is the team of AVNet, and we also are growing in team competences, in lifelong learning competences as a lifelong learning center. And we are growing through our daily work, through the experiments and pilots we are setting up with new technologies, through the research and development and implementation projects in which we are participating. We are also collaborating with other centers and departments in the university. We are networking with others, international networks. We are represented in several councils within the university and external to the university. We are also following our own courses, training programs and eventually educational programs. We learn a lot from students that have internships with us. And we also try to set up some knowledge management, knowledge sharing system in the center. So we are a lifelong learning organization ourselves, and we are into support of lifelong learning for the rest of the university. This is the quality cycle. When it comes to education and support of education at the university, we also think that we need to achieve certain levels of quality. And because this presentation is in the framework of the UNI-QM project, I would like to refer to the PDCA cycle, as it is very much in the core of the UNI-QM project. We don't have that PDCA cycle in our university, but as you can see on this slide, we do have some sort of cyclic movement when it comes to quality assurance. And in our university, it all starts with the educational concept on top of the slide. It means that we do have in our university a vision on how teaching and learning should be organized. In our case, this is let's say, the planning phase. We have a strong, common shared vision and strategy on how teaching and learning should be organized. And lifelong learning is just part of that. Second step in the cycle is then the implementation of our teaching and learning strategy. It means that we have the different levels in the university where teaching and learning is organized. There is the vice rector, who is the overall chief, so to say. There is the faculties that have their responsibility in the programs they are offering, bachelor and master, but also in the lifelong learning programs. And there is the support centers that help the teachers in their implementation plans. And one of those support centers, like I said, is mine. And so we help teachers in the bachelor and master programs, of course, but we help also the teachers in setting up innovative ways of lifelong learning activities. So that's the second step in the cycle. The third step is then on the bottom here, it's quality assessment. And that means that we have, well, in our case, we do two types of quality assessment. There is the internal quality assessment procedure, and there is an external one. The internal one is very much related to the evaluation of separate course units, separate learning activities, and the evaluation of whole programs, of the curricula in itself. The external quality assessment is then done together with the Netherlands, by the way, because we speak the same language. So it's an international peer assessment with visitation and finally ending up with accreditation. Then I'm talking about the bachelor and master programs. But lifelong learning, we also want to have a similar quality assessment, a similar external evaluation procedure. I will come back to that later. Quality assessment with evaluation is not the final step. The really final step is how do we learn from that? How are we then lifelong learning organization? And how do we follow up on what the outcome is of the evaluation procedures? Which means that we are working, developing, refining, reforming our curricula, that we are looking for innovative and other new ways of teaching and learning, and that we also try to set up the specific training programs to increase, to improve the lifelong learning competences of the teachers. And there we also try, the cycle is closed, to see if our vision, our main strategy on teaching and learning is still valid and if we have to improve that. And actually, when it comes to lifelong learning, we have seen that at this moment there are so many different activities happening in the university about lifelong learning, that there is so many things happening there around lifelong learning, that we need to revise the strategy of the university. And so there is nowadays a working group installed in the university with different representatives from different faculties, different support units, different other units in the university that are representing the stakeholders of lifelong learning, working together on a new, refined, renewed vision on teaching and learning in lifelong learning activities. And actually, probably in the next project, we could share our ideas there on lifelong learning. And for me, this is a very interesting point at this moment in the university to think about where we are and how we could link the UNI-QM output to our own work in the university. If you want to learn more about us, here are the contact details. We are certainly willing to answer your questions, and if you can bear us a visit, please be most welcome in our center in Leuven. Thank you very much.